morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in this great big world that we call the planet Earth. I am your host this evening. I am Dale, and I'm so glad to be back on the air. I've missed everybody. Thank you, everybody who's been checking in, seeing what we've been up to. We've been quite busy doing our thing and just rocking and rolling. And yeah, so we're glad to be back on the air doing some new stuff, talking to some new guests. Got a whole lot of exciting and new things coming your way over June already. Wow, June 1st. I'm still trying to figure out where this year is flying to. It's like one time it's December and now it's already June and here we are just cranking it out once again. So once again, guys, yeah, it's good to be back. Good to see everybody. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. And don't forget, if you have not hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe and hit the like button. This way, here you keep up to date to everything that the Paranormal Voice is doing, and get all the insight. And also, you can catch us over on KGRA Digital Media every Saturday at 1 a.m. with a brand new episode, and also going to be over on the XL network. So check those guys out. Go over to Facebook, check them out, subscribe. Get all kinds of great, amazing shows. It is absolutely amazing over there. So we're just happy to be back. So we're going to get right into this. Ed is a gentleman that I've got to know over the last 5 or so years. Uh, he was just working, doing some computer work at a company that I was working for, and just started talking about all the weird and crazy things that I'm into. Found out that he's just as weird and as crazy as I am. So I had to bring him out here because I'll tell you, it is one of our favorite topics to talk about UFOs. And that is exactly who I got today. I got right here in my own city of Windsor, Ontario, we've got our very own UFO or UAP researcher, Mr. Rob ChayKoski. How's it going, buddy?
Good, good. How about you? How about you? This is exciting. I've been waiting for this forever. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, no, I mean it is great. Like I said, I mean, we've been getting to know each other over the last 5 or so years. Could even be longer than that, because I mean, I know I worked there for about 8 years, so it could have been closer to 8 years already. How time flies when you're not even thinking about it.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I mean, I was excited to find out that you're all into the UFOs and the alien things because, it is such a fascinating topic. And and everything that's been coming out in the media lately, it just seems like more and more as more people are opening up to being acceptable of actually trying to find out more about UFOs, and that's what we're going to do here, right here today. So I'm going to start this off just like we always do. So, what really got you into the whole extraterrestrial UFOs? Whatever you want to call them, the galactics. There are so many names for these beings that are out there, these things we see flying across our skies each and every day.
Yeah, well, that's amazing because this is the aspect. Like, there's three different stories to get to that, and weirdly, the first one like it starts with my Transformers. Like obviously from the backdrop, it gave me like an appreciation for like that alien robotic things when I was young, and I was very interested in it when I was very young. Weirdly, I had a lot of books, but growing up, you get a little bit of break when you get into high school. University, college, or wherever you get, and then it kind of gets out of mind because you get into life and all these other things. Unless you're like a true researcher, there's some people that love to watch, like Jeremy Corbell, and that seem to be have been in the research game a lot longer than I have. Um, but then, I think there was another experience that I had. Like had a small encounter when I was just a small encounter. It was just a viewing. It was so like a quick light, nothing huge. It was, but it was, you could tell it wasn't a satellite because it did like an S kind of curve through the sky, but it was very fast. It was not like a plane and single light. And it was not a meteorite either because they burn up, and it was just let me know it was there. It's kind of cool.
Right.
And then that kind of brought me back into the limelight a little bit. And then the biggest thing was obviously the big release from the UAP video. Maybe, and I kind of like, wow, there's actually video that was released by a government organization that kind of like went, oh, blew my mind. So those three big things in my life are correlated into like this massive thing, and then on top of that, Dale, you like they're talking about, right?
Yeah, and it's such a fascinating thing. I mean, you being in the paranormal field, you always hear about the UFO stories, and me and Michael John are very blessed and honored to be a part of the UFO Contact Convention each and every year up in Holt Lake, Michigan, which is coming up again this September. I believe it's the last weekend in September. You can go over to the UFO Contact Facebook page, or it's miufocontact.com, and you can get all the information about all the amazing speakers that they have coming up this year. But yeah, no, just being out in Holt Lake, Michigan, it is like the hotbed of UFO activity. So that's where really I was truly introduced to my very first UFO experience, uh, because being out there with so many like-minded people and just talking to them and seeing, like, hearing all the fascinating stories, and it's one of those. It's like a lot of people don't believe, but a lot of people have an experience, but they're afraid to talk about it.
A lot more than we think. And I think that's the biggest thing is like they're afraid of the the byproduct that comes with saying it. And again, this is just to get into a little bit of the that kind of aspect is I think a lot of people think when they've seen or felt or heard have an event, right? They're not quite sure because it may be a first time. And again, it's such a one-off that again everybody might fear the stigmatism that comes with that too, right?
Right, yeah, no, and that is so true. I mean, and this is like what programs like the Paranormal Voice and a lot of other shows and a lot of other events are really trying to encourage people to talk about their experiences.
Hmm. As minor as they may be, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing is that even though I haven't had like a lot, I've had a couple minor ones, and they were not direct. I don't know. I didn't get taken, but
Yeah.
I will. It's enough. There's three events in my life that I could point to that. One was the S1. One was when I was young and I didn't realize what I was looking at, and it was just a couple. It was a single light that was shooting off two lights, and it was just very stable. Wasn't a helicopter because it made no noise, like you can tell, and I was young enough that helicopters weren't around quite as early as that. Like they weren't quite as prevalent. They weren't securing the border as much as they were at that time. So you could tell like what you see is a little bit different. But again, this is the aspect is I'm willing to talk about it. You're willing to talk about it, and there's real aspects of it that I think more people just have to be willing to understand.
Yeah, and I mean, people are always too quick to um, kind of fluff it off, more or less. The common thing to do is just fluff it off, and it had to be a plane, or it had to be a satellite, or
Hmm.
uh, you know, I mean, I find myself, I enjoy going for long drives at night, and I always find like really like places that are dark, and I just find myself parking and just staring out into the sky. And there's times that I will catch glimpses, and I mean lights that are in the sky, and they're standing still, like they're not moving whatsoever,
Hmm.
but you can just see a bright light. And I often wonder, I mean, I can't say 100% it was, but I also can't say 100% it wasn't. But it's so weird to see just a standing bright light in the sky, and it's not a star. I mean, because it's way too close to the Earth to say that it would be a star of any sort. At least I don't know any stars that would be able to be that close that the naked eye would be able to see it. I know on a clear night we can see stars up in the sky, but they look so tiny. Like they
Hmm.
look like spectacles, right?
Hmm.
This, I mean, it is like a light bulb in the sky, and
Yeah,
I
it's
often wonder, and I've seen it quite a bit, and
just short of a moon almost sometimes.
right, yeah, and so it's stuff like that, and meeting people like Deb DeRusse and RJ and Bill Konkolowski and all those people down there, and Andrea Perrin. Like I
Hmm.
said, it's like talking to these people, and it really makes you think. It's like, like or even with me being more or less coming from the ghost side of the paranormal. I
Mm.
mean, talking to a lot of these people, it really makes you double take to think that did I have a ghostly encounter, or did I have, or possibly could it have been an alien encounter? Because
Hmm.
when you're using equipment and you're using digital radios or digital recorders and stuff like that, I mean, who's more advanced in this world than the extraterrestrial world? So it's so it makes you really think as a paranormal investigator, what am I truly having? And it really makes you think like, wow, could I really had excuse me,
Oh, it's good.
a really I did have a really interesting thing that happened to me and Michael John
Hmm.
back in 2023 now, almost 2 years ago now.
Well, that's recent. That's nice though. It's a good, like when you can pull from memory banks that is like pretty recent. That's a lot better than trying to pull from like 30 years ago. So yeah, that's all. Like I want to hear what happened.
Well, see with that, so me and Michael John back in the day, I mean, we still do when we're not busy, but we always would go for long car rides and go through, and that's where we got to talk because that was the only time could really do anything and not be bothered. So we would go on these long car rides through the Essex County and everything. So Rob, you would actually know this area quite well, and maybe some of your research has brought uh, sightings to this area because we've heard that there was a lot. And so, anyways, we were driving down Highway 3. We were just coming back from towards the Leamington area, and we were just coming down Highway 3, and we're heading towards Cottam. And Michael John goes, "Oh, I had a cousin that lived in Cottam, right next to a graveyard too." I
Hmm.
was like, "You said graveyard, let's go."
That's awesome.
I had to figure this one out. So
I heard this one
anybody
up.
that knows me and Michael John, they know that we synchronicities between the two of us is a big thing. So we were so I'm like, okay, so we pulled off Highway 3 into Cottam. So as you're going down, you get to the first stop sign in Cottam. There's a four-way stop, and diagonally across the street from us, there's that Simple Bakery, I believe it's called.
Okay.
So Michael
Yep.
John's like, "Oh, look at that bakery over there." I was like, and it was January 1st, so everything was closed. So I'm like, yeah, I said, should try it out sometime. So continue through stop sign, and so we're talking, and we just happened to be talking about how we would love to learn how to do remote viewing
Mm. That's yes.
because we've had several guests talk about remote viewing, something that very interests both
The
us.
the gateway tapes. Sorry.
Uh, but yeah, so we're just talking, and so I look down at the radio, and I'm like, "Oh, look at that! It's like 3:33." So we just like synchronicities. So we keep driving. We get to the end of the road. So as you know, you get to that end of the road. Now it's this: you can either turn right or left. You can't go straight because it's now I can't remember the name of the road because I'm not too familiar with the road
Mm.
name.
You know what? I'm going to be the worst GPS ever. I'm sorry. I know Essex County because I get
Yeah.
lost in all the time.
So we get to the stop sign. He goes, "Oh, they live that way." So that road there leads right into Essex.
Mm. Okay.
So I turn left, and we're driving. We come. He goes, "Oh, I see a graveyard." And I'm like, "Oh, is that it?" So he goes, "Nope, that's not it." So I was like, "Okay, let's keep driving." And then we see a second graveyard, and he goes, He goes, yeah, that was the house my cousins lived in. So I drive by slowly and I'm trying to look for an entrance into this graveyard. It's a really tiny graveyard. Like, I mean,
Mm.
it is small.
Mm-hmm.
So couldn't find one. I'm like, screw it. Let's just keep driving and talk. So we're driving, and that was the last thing I remember.
Oh wow.
And I remember looking up in the sky, but that's all I remember. And then uh, I come up to the stop sign, and Mike goes, "Holy crap! There's that bakery again." But this time, it is we're like right across the street from it. Like it's outside the left side of my vehicle, and I'm like, "What? Like, what the
Wow.
hell?" It was like we're just like looking at each other, go,
Wow.
and then Mike looks down at the radio, and I think we lost something like 11 to 15 minutes of time
Hmm.
because at this time here it was
Wow. That's pretty good.
but
Like, I'm not sorry, I'm not good. I mean, that's a pretty significant amount of time.
so we're just sitting there, we're staring at each other, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, how did we get back to to where we were? Like,
Hmm.
there's no way. I did not take any turns. I don't remember taking any turns. I just remember driving straight down this road, which should have led us right into Essex.
Hmm.
So, but so I we're driving home and we're just looking at each other like every few minutes. We're like, "What the hell just happened?" Like
Uh,
we're not understanding, and we're like we got to talk to somebody. So of course,
mhm.
Deb and RJ, two really good friends. So I was like, let's call them up and just talk to them and tell them what happened.
Mhm.
So we get a hold of them and we're like, we explained the story I was just telling you about, and they're like, okay, like we want you two to stop talking to each other, like don't talk anymore about it.
Mhm.
Just think about what happened.
Mm. They're going to give you the prisoner's dilemma to figure it out.
So, and they go, then we want you to go to your separate places. Don't do this in the same room together. Don't like just go to your own homes. Write down everything you can remember. So, all right. So they said that after you do that, call us back. We're going to talk some more. So while this time, RJ started doing some research on the area that I told him about, and so he had a map, uh, brought up a map, and he goes, okay. So he goes, where were you guys? And I showed him. So in looking at the map, that road does not connect with the road that we ended back up on.
Mm.
Like if we did, we would have drove through fields and somebody's house.
Yeah, it's funny how that cars are just not capable of that anymore, or they were not even at that time.
Right.
They just like it's.
And so yeah, so we're like, well, then how the hell did we get back onto this other road and sent us back in the opposite direction?
Well, and do you, and this is going to be a silly question. Do you notice like the intensity of events seem to be going on higher, or like greater, as you investigate more and more into this stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it just seems like a pretty common thing. And that's why it's crazy that you mentioned that. And that's why like it's the missing time, the paradoxes of where you are versus where you were. It's like that very typical kind of like event that most people like register, and I'm just that's
right.
like textbook
Right.
almost.
Yeah,
That-
and like I said, it was like the weirdest thing, and they're like, "Well, we're pretty convinced that you guys had an experience." So we were just like, oh, "Okay." So and we it just kept like I kept thinking about it. So we are good friends with a wonderful lady called Mary Bassett. She works with MUFON in Michigan. She is a regressionist.
mm,
She works with people that have suffered traumas and stuff like that. PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, "Well, what if I did a regression on you guys? See if maybe that'll help."
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, "Sure." At this point, we're really intrigued. We want to find everything. So Michael John goes first. So he sets up a time with her and does his regression. And so, but we don't talk about what happened with him until after I had mine done.
Mm-hmm.
So, so this is the funny part. This is the part that I'm like, wow, I got the crappy end of this deal.
Okay.
Was that they were there for him, but since I was with them, they had to take me too.
It was a 2-for-1 deal.
But the thing is, they had no interest in me. They just wanted him.
Hmm.
So I got essentially the way they put it is like I got turned off.
Interesting. Oh, it's because and what I find, and this is where it's hard, right? Like it's hard because like no one wants to make jokes about the situations because it's like
No,
most people, for the most like our real experiences and do like a lot of people go through that PTSD and need to go through it. But that's the other aspect is yeah, sometimes like these events cause some funny situations that
right.
are kind of laughable for some of us, right? Like, but again, it's the experiencer versus the experience, having to decide
Yeah,
like what the context is, and that's why, yeah. Oh man, it's great. Like again, I've
yeah,
never been experienced being taken, but
yeah,
that's like quite the event. Wow.
yeah. So I was essentially, but I don't remember anything. The only thing I do remember is that I was focused on the sky and I could see this craft that was in the sky, but that's all I can see.
Mm,
I
that's
don't that's the vision I got.
mm,
And I was just like where Michael John had a more intense experience, like
more
he remembers
individual
seeing them.
and individualized experience, right? I think that's
Right,
what sometimes we forget that we do have like an individual experiences that may not be, even though we're in parallel kind of systems,
right,
we may have our own individual experience that is not like subject to the other.
right. So yeah, and so that's through regression. That's what we found out, and it's like it's so fascinating. I mean, even though it was like nothing was really done to me, I was just had to be, and of course, the first question I asked was like, "Well, then who the hell was driving my vehicle?"
Hmm. Yeah. Who? That's a good
Yeah,
question.
because if I was blanked out, like
Well, I
who
was
was
gonna say,
it? And
you
it's like, well, of course they would take care of you, like
do you have a steering column at least, right?
yes,
Oh, good, good.
yes,
Because they
but
can drive it off to the side of the road if there was a
yeah,
mistake.
but yeah, but like I said, it was just it was a really amazing thing to say that I had this experience,
Hmm.
and and um, what we really think that brought it on was earlier that year me and Michael John had our third eye opened by Andrea Perron, who a lot of people might know from the Conjuring movies, but she is very connected to the Galactic family. And she does these things at a lot of events that if you want to open up your third eye, she will help you do that. And we had it done, and I'll tell you, our lives have never been the same since. Like you see things and you feel things, you experience things on a whole different level. And we don't know if maybe that had something to do with what happened. But but Michael John, come to find out, he's had more than one alien experience with all this, and a lot of it too. What we're really learning is people that have um, recurring dreams
Hmm.
is very popular within the UFO community and how they kind of communicate with you. Like they'll put you in the same scenario, put you in a familiar place over and over again. But the catch is that there'll always be something missing
Mm.
within within it. Which, like, if you're in a room, it could be like the light switch. might not be on the wall where it's normally on the wall. Little things like that, and it's because they're recreating it, but they're not able. I don't know if they're not able to, or if this is just what they choose to do. They don't make it a perfect thing.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny you say. I'm sorry, I'm gonna use the term funny when funny a
Yeah,
lot. But that's the thing is that you start to realize, like, a lot of the stories that you hear is that a lot of them represent things that we are aware of, like with our eyes. And it's funny because this is one of those weird facts that I'm gonna kind of like just that I learned recently as of like yesterday or 2 days ago. That humans as a species did not see the color blue until about 5,000 years ago. So the color blue did not exist for us to see, even though it exists as a wavelength. We did not get that until about 5,000 years ago. And this is what's kind of funny because this is where you start to develop like things like where I'm when I do my research, things called like fact islands, right? Like things of fact islands. Like somebody can tell you a fact, but until you can actually research it enough and pull in enough like citations and all these other things, it's not really a fact, right? Like so if I go on to sciencefacts.com and look up, did humans see the color blue 5,000 years ago? And they kind of like, there's some research that says no, they did not, and we developed to see the color blue. Then you can actually look at, I think Plato. Plato was writing back then, and he wrote the colors of the ocean and the sky as not blue, right? Like so, you can actually reference that in other written texts in the past, and
right,
then other things is genetics, right? Like so, then you pull these all things together as a fact island, right? And as you start pulling these fact islands together, and this is how I do my research, is you get those connected facts, and it
right.
gives you that idea of like what is actually a real thing. And it's why do you say that you open up your third eye? Well, this is a whole new visualization that we never experienced before, just like
Right.
color blue. So
Right.
that you've opened up your eye, you now see more than the color blue, which is in crazy. And that's why I'm like a little nervous when I think of that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean with us it's I mean if you look back through the Egyptians, like they would put third eyes on some of their mummies,
Hmm.
their sculptures, their drawings. So I mean the third eye is not something that we see that would be new because it's
Hmm.
been talked about for so long through history, and
Hmm.
especially when you're into metaphysical stuff and stuff like that, and or into spiritualism. Like the third eye represents like the opening of the mind, and so you're really truly opening up yourself to a whole new world when you're doing that. uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's weird to put into words on how you feel. I know when it happened to me, I describe it to people. They're like, "Well, what did you experience?" I said, "Think of yourself like a battery, and your battery just drains itself, and then all of a sudden recharges itself again instantly."
Oh
It's
my
like
God,
you could feel the wave go through your body, and then starting at your toes, it just re-energizes yourself. And then the next thing you know, it's just like clarity, like things you would never think you could see,
that
you
sounds like
see, and
sounds like
you're
meditation times like 1,000.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
that's once in a while. Like and again, I try. Oh my God, I didn't start meditating until way late in life. But
Same
that's
with me. I mean, I never really thought about meditation until going through a lot of stuff that I've gone through, like with the mental health and everything.
hmm
Uh, Talking with Reiki masters, um, and stuff like that. It was just like, you really don't think a lot about it, but then it's just like, here it is.
yeah.
Um, so what really got you into diving deeper into your experiences that you had in a younger life, in your younger years, not your younger life,
Mm,
that said, you know what, I
that's a whole
really
other
want to deep
conversation, isn't it?
down and start researching this and finding patterns and trying to see, like, you know if something makes sense, like why do they visit certain areas more than say like big cities? Like they have been in big cities. I mean, the Battle of LA was the
Mm.
famous one where the
Wash-
fighter jets tried
Washington
to shoot.
D.C. has seen
Yeah.
quite a few of its selection, right?
But you
Montreal.
hear a lot of it about in like smaller rural
Yeah, yeah.
communities.
Well, you don't have as much light pollution now, right? Light pollution is like a huge thing I find, especially again, living in Essex has been kind of the thing, and trying to look up sometimes is really tough, especially me having bad vision too. I
Right.
have my binoculars, and anyway, I'm going to go into the research aspect with why
Sure.
I'm doing it this way is because again, going back to like where I found my mental health issue kind of like went to a I obsess about things, and I like to learn how to obsess enough to get enough information that if I find worth diving deeper in things. And you probably know from my computer experience that computers have been a pretty big deep dive for me, and I needed something else. So what started that is that one interview with oh my god, what's his name, Louis Elizondo, right? He was on CNN, and actually no, somewhere else. It was the GQ interview actually, and I can put up links and stuff because I have all my research ready to go. If you want me to put up links, but I just don't want to get
Yeah.
sidetracked on the conversation. I'll put all this stuff in there as we go.
Yeah.
So he kind of got me into the research aspect because he said a whole bunch of stuff where I'm like, Tic Tac was like 43 feet, or some of these other kind of things where you're like, that's an actual measurement. Like they have like actual data around this. So if they have data, that means that there's evidence. And if they don't have, and that's where it kind of like that FLIR video and the gimbal and all that other stuff is make me realize is they actually have evidence. So and if we can find evidence, that means we can find fact islands, right? Like, so we can find islands of facts around people, what people say. And I've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff. And it did get sidetracked for a little while because of some of the issues, like, I don't know, let's call holidays and Christmas and work and stuff. But as I kind of go into this aspect, um, I'm going back into the research because you got me excited again. But so I go to John Lear, the original John Lear interview with George Knapp, and I hope this link still works for everybody. Um, but I'm going to pop it in here. Let me see if this works for everybody. But this is the George Knapp interview with John Lear. And John Lear was the son of Learjet founder. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. And he went into a whole bunch of information around what he knew at the time, including like there was up to 5 different alien civilizations that were visiting Earth, which kind of like, again, that 5 civilizations, can we like really, that's another measurement, that's possibly another fact. So we put that measure into 5 possibly civilizations. Well, if you look up, I can't, I'd have to look him up shortly, but he was one of the Israeli defense minister, and he said that there's galactic civilizations that are currently part of contracts with our Earth, right? And that kind of thing, kind of, and I think he mentioned 5 plus civilizations, and I think even it's getting up where around the 57, 60 civilizations, and all that kind of thing comes back to what do I think they're doing? I think they're I think they're like a version of us, but like as above, so below. Think of us when we study ants and other animals, right? There's possibly 50 or plus more civilizations that are bigger than us that just, some of them want to study us, some of
Right.
them don't. Some of them may be trading, some of them may not even be care about us at all, right? Like, and then we add to that, like, how many billions of years we been around? They might not. Some of them may not care about us at all. But
Right.
that being said, there's so much evidence out there of what we're looking at that might be more than one.
Right. Yeah. No, and I mean it's fascinating when yeah, I just popped that link right into the chat. So if anybody in the chat wants to go grab that link and watch it, go ahead. Um, after the show, please.
Yeah, after. Yeah, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
keep on forgetting about
after.
that word actually.
Yeah, no, no. But yeah, no, it's but yeah, it's it's real. I mean, it is truly a real science and a lot of different elements. I mean, it's just not science based
Yeah,
alone, but a lot
there's
of
more to the nuts
el-
and bolts. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
and I mean, this is what we're finding out, and I mean, it's like how things are being discovered, how things worked, and you know, like we're still trying to really figure out like the crafts themselves. Like,
Hmm.
are aliens truly interdimensional beings? Because are they not only on this Earth, but they can go through all the other Earths as well? I mean, there's Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4, and they're all parallel universes. Like, if it, depending on how deep you dive into it, it
Hmm.
will be, there are other us's on these interdimensional planets or universes, however people want to look at it. And, and they kind of say, like, when you have a deja vu, it's like your other self from one of the other universes has already done this. And we're now catching up to it, right?
Well, again, if you even go down to like if you want to go into quantum mechanics of it all, if you look at all possibilities exist all at once, right?
Right.
We've done everything, and we happen to be in the timeline where we just happen to exist in this one. But yeah, it's always interesting to me because you find so many different parallels between the um, not just like the paranormal activity, but the the UFO aspect, and I find it all paranormal, parapsychology, para research because this is the stuff that science does not want to touch because again, it's hard to research when you can't measure things. But I think we're starting to learn how, right? Like, I think there's a new research into a lot of the new telepathic kids that come up in my feed on YouTube, and it looked pretty interesting. And unfortunately, I didn't hear all of it because I fell asleep while listening to it the one night. But again, we need real research, real scientists
Right.
that are willing to take the time and put their effort into this.
Right.
And again, pardon me, as an armchair researcher, I can only do so much. I only have so much data available to me. But you know what? If we start forming teams and communities like we do for everything else, I'm sure we'll get better at this as we go and get more information.
And this is where communities like MUFON
Hmm.
and I know there's a Canadian one. It is not.
New
It is
new
not. It
new four.
is.
Oh my God, I have them
It's.
all. Sorry.
It is. And you know what the amazing thing is? We were just hanging out with Chris. I can't think of his last name right now, but he is part of the Canadian research uh,
I did. National
UFO
Commission.
team. I will find that and I will post it on this channel. The links to Chris, and he wrote a book, and quite amazing. And like I said, it is
Yeah.
truly. Uh, oh yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, this is. I
Uh,
will say. Maybe one point later on, I'll show you how I do my research, but I don't want
okay,
to show too much because
yeah,
honestly, people will be like, that guy does not know what he's talking about at all. Like, oh boy.
that's it. This is the gentleman here. Thank
Yes, he's
you,
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gail or Mel, Lucky
He's on.
Paranormal. They have an amazing event coming up this October. If anybody in the Thunder Bay, Ontario area or anywhere, you guys want to see an amazing event, we were so blessed to be a part of their event last year. They're hosting again October. Just go over to Lucky Paranormal and you will see the Lake Superior Paracon, which is their Paracon. Absolutely amazing. Chris is going to be back up there again this year, I believe. I saw his name on the speaker list. Truly fascinating guy from Canada. I believe he's from Manitoba. I
That's a
believe
guy that does
I wrote that.
research. Yeah,
Yeah.
I, I have
Very,
him on my
very
LinkedIn.
knowledgeable.
I like him.
Super nice guy as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, so guys, if you want to catch a Canadian Paracon, Thunder Bay, Ontario, this October, Lake Superior Paracon, go check it out, guys. They put on an amazing event. Uh, but yeah, so it's the research part of it is so fascinating. I think more and more research scientists, researchers are more trying to find uh, like really deep downside because I mean obviously the Pentagon and all these people are now coming forward saying, yes, we do have uh, full knowledge of UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. Do they still downplay Area 51? Absolutely.
Hmm.
And you know what? And I'm starting to believe that maybe Area 51 is not what we think it is. Maybe it is not
Not anymore, right? It's too
a,
much.
a research area. Uh, but yeah, no, it's and it's so fascinating. And I do hope, like, you sit there and you ask yourself a question, and I ask all these of everybody. I mean, I will ask you this right now: if you had the opportunity to meet an extraterrestrial, would you want to do it? And
Absolutely.
what would you think would be the first question you would ask?
My question, my first one, be like, why? Like, why, like, why and how? Like, why are you here and how did you get here? Right? I think,
Right.
and then the other aspect is like, I can't, like, I would love to go places, right? Like, take me to the sun, take me to Jupiter, take me to like another, like Alpha Centauri, right? There's so much a universe to explore. Like, again, I pardon the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but you can imagine sitting on the edge of a black hole. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I see me truly. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of interaction. Would I embrace it? Absolutely. Because you know what? I mean, I am as many weirdos in this world. I truly do believe we are not alone.
Hmm.
Ghosts exist, Bigfoot exists, aliens exist.
Hmm.
There's probably even creatures that exist we don't even know of yet.
Well, again, just like the aspect of if there's more than one species of us, which we had for a little while, right? Neanderthals, denizens, and all these other kind of, like, you got to figure
Right.
these aliens. There's a chance of other species, and if there's other species, then they might even have pets, right? Like we have pets. You never know what an alien dog might look like.
Well, I mean, and a lot of people who are been following our show for a long time. I mean, last year we had a very interesting guest on the show, Nicole. Absolutely beautiful sweetheart of a girl. We met her through the UFO community. Now she's had a lifetime of alien experiences, and I mean her story is so mind blowing. If anybody hasn't seen that episode, please go back, watch that episode. It was so mind blowing the things this girl experienced,
Mm.
and she went through it. It really did a number on her life, and but she has them even to this day. They don't stop. Like they have
But
never stopped. Like even to
it,
this day, she will still have experiences where they'll come and visit. They'll take her. Like she can tell you details on times she was taken, things she's experienced, stuff that she believes has happened to her.
I think the hard
Uh,
part again, like you don't have any right to consent, right? Like, and this is where it sucks because they may understand consent from our aspect of things, right? Like,
right,
again, we're talking to a whole other possible species that we could be just another test subjects, right? Like we could be like the same way we pick up mice or monkeys to test with
right.
them.
Well, and that's it. And I mean, being at a lot of these events too, like that's something we've learned, like especially at the UFO Contact Convention, was how people have described their experiences, and like they've had like skin grafts taken,
Hmm.
so that they could research us and you
The
know
DNA,
be
our
able
DNA.
to create, which we do believe that there are hybrids walking this earth as we speak that look like you and I,
There's a little bit
that
of
are
everything, right?
hybrids. Like we could walk past 20 of them in a day and never know that we just walked by a hybrid alien.
There's a oh my god, I'm gonna screw up the name. A Lacura. It was a story about a reptilian that disguised herself as a human, and had a great story about the reptilian species that still exist in caves. And you hear about the stories in Thailand and the Philippines and the Singapore and the
Yeah.
forests about the
Yeah.
reptilian race. Like they could walk among us and we have no idea. Or
Right.
we trust our eyes, right? And that's why I bring up the story of the color blue. Our eyes are trained based on
Right.
what we are trained to see, right? Like, so now we're trained to
Right.
see the color blue.
Right.
We may not be, they may not be here for us to see.
Right. Well, and I mean, I guess it's another way for them to observe us
Hmm.
as humans. You know, they're far more advanced creatures than we are,
Look at the people that
but
put on panda
but
suits.
we're still. I mean,
Sorry.
we're still fascinating creatures, like
Hmm.
us when we see a cat or a dog or a shark or an octopus. Like we get mesmerized by it because
Think of the first
they're
time you see a new
different
animal.
from us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
crazy.
I mean, and so I often wonder. It's like, wow, are we the same way? Are they so fascinated by us? Like
So
they
if you
they
were
want to
going,
send their people to be around us to see like how we are. And I mean, I truly believe like they are here for good. I mean, do I know there's probably some bad ones? Absolutely. Just like every culture has good and bad. So
mm-hmm,
why would we not have good and bad aliens? But I think for the most part, the ones that are coming and the ones that we are having interactions with are only here on pure of their scientific basis to get to really know what we are as humans and what we're capable of doing.
what makes us tick?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it's a little bit interesting as I kind of go through the research and stuff, and kind of like, there's way back to the, as you mentioned, the Egypt stuff, Anunnaki, and the original gods, right? Like, and it's like you start even going back to that research, and you kind of like go to the pyramids, and you think that the pyramids, like, they're actually probably older than what we think, and they're
Huh.
again,
Yeah.
you kind of go and you look at there's no way these humans move blocks to that size, and I love to
Right. Right.
think that through research and all that we'd have pulleys and all that, but you know what, find the pulleys, find the ropes, find all that stuff that was
Right.
used to
And,
create the pyramids.
and when you really think about the Egyptians stuff like that, I mean, in movies and stuff like that, they were always these small, skinny little people.
Hmm.
Nothing against the small,
No,
skinny
no, no,
people.
we get
I love you guys out there,
no
but
history
but
shows that they were smaller, right? Their average height was like
but
5'4".
but yeah, I mean, those. If anybody's ever been to Egypt and been close to one of these pyramids, can see that the stones and the bricks that were made to do this are not small at all by any.
And the
So
calculations to make that stuff, right? Like, again,
right,
it's mind blowing. And again, not that the people were dumb of that age either, right?
right.
But there's a lot more science and technology that they had access to than we're aware of.
So since you've begun your research into this and diving into, what would you say has been the most fascinating thing you've learned so far?
I think the fascinating thing is it's all real, right? Like, I think that's like you start going back into history and you find out like about this Anunnaki, and it's real. You read passages from the Bible, and there's a lot of that aspect that's real, and the books of Enoch, and you kind of look into the subtext of and then you kind of go into the Indian texts of the Hindi, and my gosh, and a lot of it just kind of like, bam, you realize like it's been here in front of our face the entire time. We just never realized it because we never had terms for it, right? Think
Right,
back, and they were shields, they were flying shields, or flying discs, or
right,
flying saucers, right? So,
right. And I mean, movies like Star Trek and Star Wars and uh, even when you think about it, I mean, I believe the movies came out in the 70s,
hmm.
but the what was the movie? Something of the third kind.
Oh, Close Encounters
Count.
of the Third Kind. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't get
So
me wrong. I mean, these directors are absolutely brilliant
that,
people,
that was
but
consulted
come
by
on,
Jacques Vallée. That was consulted by Jacques Vallée.
right,
So Jacques Vallée was a consultant on Close Encounters. So a lot of that stuff is based on stuff that he knows has been
right,
really experienced, which is kind of like crazy. It becomes a documentary at that point.
right. And so it's like when you think of the stuff in these movies and these shows that have been produced, I mean, where do these people come up with
Well, think
these
of
stories? Or
X-Files.
yeah, X Files, perfect example. I mean, a truly amazing
Eight,
show. I mean,
eight
it was
seasons.
produced here in Canada.
Yeah, 8 seasons and like 24 episodes a season. That's a lot of
Yeah,
content, right? And a
yeah,
movie or two.
yeah. And
And
so
and
it's
Gillian Anderson, you can't go wrong. Sorry,
that's right.
I will go there. Yeah, just
But
props there.
yeah, but it's like where do these writers and these people get this information? And yeah, they do consult with people that have been long in like into into this stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
UFO research has probably been around a lot longer than any of us can really comprehend. Really,
Oh
just
God,
like like ghosts. I mean, it's really paranormal investigation has been like the turn of a century type of thing.
yeah. Well,
So I mean, it just seems like more and more as the world gets more open, more weirder, and with everything going on, we see. I think COVID brought out a lot of people start diving
um,
deep down into rabbit holes and going, "What about Bigfoot? What about
yeah, we're
aliens?"
bored for a little bit, right? And that's why I'm like, wow, when your brain kind of goes, ooh, let's go find what we can find. It just like has a little spiral, and then it just kind of goes, woo, and then back up, right? And you're like,
Right,
okay, I need to research the good stuff.
right, absolutely. Um, so we're coming down to the last 5 minutes of this show. So I want you where do you see yourself going with your research? And
Ooh.
what kind of do you have like what is your ambitions to for the future? Like what do you see yourself doing as far as your research going and stuff like that?
Well, oh, this is a great question because this is like exactly like this is the whole this is the inspiration for me to keep going, right? Because the future is where we kind of look forward to, and obviously, we want to be in a state of where we at right now.
Right,
So I'm talking in computer terms because it's like my computer background coming to base me is I baseline, right? Like I baseline what weird knowledge is right now. And in 5 years, I want to know more, right? Like, so one of the things I want to know more about is how this all connects. And there's so many, and I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble here is like there's aspects of like disinformation and misinformation that comes out. And I'm like, I look at like a guy like Louis Elizondo, who's referred to as ex-CIA. No one's ever ex-CIA, right? Like no one's ever ex-intelligence analysts. And that's the
right,
thing is that you start to realize is that a lot of these people will say information they're trying to, maybe take a little bit of it. Like I think Louis has released a good amount of information, but I think he's trying to like say the U.S. doesn't have any, anything with it. But I think that the U.S. has some product that they use.
right,
But that being said, it's where do I want to go that? And then there's also the. I'm sorry, I'm going to grab a couple bit more of my research on this one. So. And again, this is coming into like there's a lot more experience in that than just the nuts and bolts. And I and please don't get me into too much trouble. And I really appreciate a researcher like Chris Rutkowski, right? He's awesome, but I think he's really nuts and bolts, and I think there's more to it than the nuts and bolts, right? There's
right,
the psyche aspect, there's the brain, there's all these kind of other things that we don't understand a part of ourselves that I think
right,
these guys are also trying to figure out, right? Like the
right,
aliens, the other beings, and then we also have like people hate that the parapsychology comes part of this too, like the ghosts and all that other stuff. We may realize like that's all real too. Not maybe I realize it's real, but I'm going a we collective, like
right,
because a lot of people separate the aliens going, okay, they can exist, but ghosts can't. I'm like, well, know, we can't.
Well,
You got to
yeah, it's
research it all, right? Like, why can't they all be real? People experience things in their own way. So yeah, the next
oh,
5 years will be connecting the dots and see where I get. And I'd love to come back on in like whatever time frame you have to show what I have in like 6, 7, whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, no,
If it
absolutely. I
works for
mean,
you.
I mean, the door is always open because we always want to stay connected to our guests and see exactly where they go and what more information they
Oh man, there's so many
end up
people.
getting. So yeah, it is such an amazing research, and I mean, it's not something, and it's only like I said, it's only getting more and more because more and more information is going out there. And yeah, people, please do your research. Don't believe everything you
Oh my God,
hear.
yeah, yeah. Don't
You
yeah.
know,
Your
it's
your Chat GPT only pulls the information that it can pull, right? Like, so it doesn't
right,
have access to. If it only has access to bad information, that's what you're gonna get.
right, and you know, and you know, get to some of these conferences,
Hmm. Meet
like the
people.
Lake Superior Paracon. Like I said, Chris is going to be up there again this year. He's an amazing guy. A lot of information. You could go get his book over on Amazon. So please, reach out
He's an amazing. Chris is an
and I
amazing
mean, he is
researcher.
amazing. He's Canadian,
I love
but
him.
that's not to knock about anything about our my American friends who all do this as well.
Sorry,
I mean,
this
go
is a
to the
Canadian
UFO,
focus, but
but go
I
to
still love you guys.
places like UFO Contact Convention up in Holt Lake this September. Like I said, if you can't get to Thunder Bay, go to Holt Lake. Two amazing. We're kind of hoping that we will be there. Uh, but like I said, you get to meet so many fascinating people.
I'm ready to attend in person. I
Uh,
like I said, this is the hard part. Is like I've been, yeah, I will say I've been teaching here and there, and schedule's
yeah,
been tough. But yeah, I can't say enough. Meet in person. That's
yeah.
if you can't,
Well,
you can't
yeah,
deny personal experience.
because the experiences you get to see in talking to people is so amazing, and you get to meet some really knowledgeable people. And people are at these conferences, they're there for a reason. They're full of knowledge, they're very experienced, they're very dedicated to their field. And like I said, it's something. And you
Look
talked
at how far
about
you've come
a
in the
lot of
past.
disinformation.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, even myself, I'm always learning. I mean, there's no such thing as being an expert in this paranormal field, because you know what? We'll never have all the answers. We, we don't know everything. We
Hmm.
only know what we allow ourselves to gain knowledge to.
Yeah.
And we've gained a lot of our knowledge by being at events, speaking at events, meeting truly amazing people. But most of all, people, don't be afraid to reach out and talk to somebody. There's a
Yeah.
lot of great organizations out there. There's a lot of great people you can reach out to and talk to and tell your story to. Don't hold it in. Like, don't think you're a weirdo. Don't think you're crazy.
Hmm.
Talk to somebody,
Lots and
and
lots of
just,
experiences out there.
you know what? It's just the more that people talk about their experiences helps guys like Rob here and other researchers be able to do their job, because if they know where things are happening and they know times and places, you can go on and you can read. There's all kinds of programs that'll tell you about the stuff that was in the sky that day.
Hmm.
Like, I know for a fact there's programs that you could track airplanes with. So
Skywatcher.
why not be able to try to track UFO experience to say, well, no, there was an airplane in that area this day, or oh, the Air Force was doing this. But talk about it. Don't be shy. Don't worry about it. Nobody's going to think you're weird.
Nope. I'm
You know what? Reach out to me if you don't know who. So, Rob, before I let you go, if anybody wants to reach out to you to talk to you, to tell you what they've experienced, or just even to pick your brain, what would be the best way that they can get a hold of you?
No, first and foremost, I'm on LinkedIn, right? Like I've been a professional kind of LinkedIn. So you find me, I think I'm only one of the only Robert ChayKoskis out there. My last name is kind of unique. Um, the other aspect is through you, right? Like again, this is where a trust comes into play. I think the first time being on your show, some viewers or whatever may not trust, right? Like, and that's the aspect is if there's a trust thing that comes into play, just I'm going to go through you, and we can always just chat over coffee.
Yeah,
I'm never
absolutely.
afraid to meet over coffee. So, personal experience in person, I'm always in. But yeah,
Absolutely, guys. So lots of avenues out there. Like I said, you know, if you think you've had experience or not sure if you've had an experience, we always say, you know what, just reach out to somebody that is in the UFO field, in the paranormal field. You know, like I said, most of us that we're out here, we want to hear from you. Reach out to anybody, and you know they'll always get you in contact with the right people so that you can truly get to understand what it is that you've experienced. It is truly amazing. So, Rob, I'm going to take this time to thank you so much to take the
no,
time out
thank
of
you.
your busy schedule
Oh my God, no,
to talk to us about the UFO, what you're doing. It's fascinating. Keep going. I look forward to seeing what projects come out with you in the future. And,
yeah,
folks, for us, stay tuned. We got another exciting show coming your way next week. Uh, my new show, Seeking Vibes. It is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I don't have an episode this week, but I will be back with a brand new episode next week. And next Sunday, we will back again live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you once again to everybody who tuned in the show tonight, people that are watching this now, people who are going to be watching this in the future. If you're listening to us over at KGRA Digital Media, thank you so much. And if you're listening to us over on the XL Network, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And always reach out to us if there's a guest that you want to see, a topic you want us to talk about. Please feel free to hit us up through our messenger on Facebook, email us at theparanormalvoice@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to point you in the right direction to make sure that everybody gets the help that you get. So that's
Mhm.
going to do it for me. Rob, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, buddy. Don't hang
Awesome,
up. I
thank
want
you.
to say a proper goodbye behind the scenes. In the meantime and in between time, we like to say is happy hauntings.